what we thought that why not the manual tester itself can write the test cases in Excel or any other open source tool or in LibreOffice, and the same could be used to automate your web-based application. So in that way, you're saving time and also the money which are spent on the manual tester as well as on the automation engineer. Okay. So we'll give you a brief on how exactly you are maintaining your workbook, that is the manual test cases, and what all things you have to keep in mind in order to fill certain things, and where exactly you can place the workbook and start the execution uh, when and when required. Okay. So if everyone can hear us, please just you can type it on chat that you can hear me, and we can start off with the demo for the workbook. And also we'll share the screen, and hope everyone is able to see the screen also. If anyone has any doubt or any queries, please do post it on chat so that we can reply to the individual person, because voice are echoing so that we cannot listen to everyone at the same time. Okay, so Satyajit is able to see our screen. Others, Rajesh, Prema, Namrita, Tejasvi, Chetan, if you can see our screen, please do that. Okay, fine. So, so this is the website by the name TestOptimizer. In this, you can just go through our various products in the product section regarding the feature and the pricing, and also you can just go on to see the benefit of our tool, the comparative study which we have made with respect to other tools in the market which are used for automation like Selenium, QTP, Test Complete. So you can see in this section the comparative study and the benefit as well. So the product has we have two products currently. One is called the Community Edition and one is the Enterprise Edition. The Community Edition is free to everyone. Anyone who wish to use this tool just to get a hands-on experience, you can just go on to this area here. Once you click on that Community Edition button, so this is a form the user has to fill, and once the form has been filled, you can just start the download for the build. And the process of installation is very simple. We'll have the user guide, the quick reference guide, and everything which is required for you to understand and to install the build will be available to you. Please make sure that whenever you are filling up the form, please do give us your valid mail ID and company detail you can give if you want. But the mail ID should be correct, because that's the way we can reach you guys to sort out if certain issues has come or any kind of feedback, or if you want any help so that we can give you guys anytime you want. Okay. So coming back to the workbook, like we said, we are using a Excel sheet now, and in the Excel itself we are maintaining our test cases. So, so this is one of the format of you maintaining your Excel one workbook. In the main workbook you have the test case sheet where you need to give all your test cases like the test case ID, the test case description. The description could be anything regarding to the test case. After that, we have the steps to reproduce column. This column generally means the action which you will be performing in order to automate your web application. So every test case might or might not have a action. So depending upon the actions or the number of actions, you can give it here. The number here represents the actions, and what these numbers mean in terms of the particular test case are taken from the action sheet here. So in this sheet, you have these columns which are fixed except for the description column. So first column is the step number. This is the numbering which we have given in the steps to reproduce in the other sheet. And once the number has been given, after that you have the test steps. These are the keyword actually which the tool recognizes. We have a list of keywords which handles almost all the functionality on a particular web page. Uh, like suppose if you want to select something from a drop down, enter some text on a particular area, click on a button. So these are the keywords which the tool recognizes, like initialize, select. All these are list of keywords which we have given here. Okay. So if somebody wants to understand what exactly that action is doing, like suppose initialize, what it's initializing, so you can just add this column here called description, and you can give a little brief about what exactly that keyword is doing, so that the next time you open up the workbook, you can understand what exactly this keyword is doing and where exactly it's making a connect. After that, the locator is it's the reference point from where you have to find out the web element on a page. Okay, before that, I'll just show you one of the application which we are automating here. So in this page, as you can see, we have a lot of things, like suppose you have the drop down option, you have the mouse over section. So we have the drop down option, the entry has to be made like the email ID, first name, last name, and you can click on the submit button. So this is one of the application which I'll be showing you how you are writing your actions here. So suppose the first thing is to initialize the browser. So the browser will be given in the locator value column. There won't be any locator value because the URL doesn't require any locators. After that, as you can see in this site, we have the drop down option for selecting the gender. So how exactly you are able to pinpoint where that action has to do? We have one extension in Firefox called the Firebug and Firepath, which is getting displayed here after installation. So once you click on that, the panel becomes active, and with the help of this panel, you can select the web element, any web element on the page, and get the required locator value from that. So for example, I'm selecting this area here, and after clicking on that, that particular area gets highlighted, and you have the values coming in here. Suppose you're using XPath in order to select the drop down option. So this XPath value will be taken from here and placed in the locator value column. Similarly, you have the enter the email ID, which also I'm using XPath here. You can use any other locator which is available, for example XPath, the ID, the name. So these are the locators and their respective values. Suppose I'm taking XPath of enter also, place the value here. Yes. If anyone has any option regarding any question regarding the way we are maintaining this or how we are entering the value, you can just ask us on the chat so that we can reply you to everyone.
Do anyone have questions? So till now, no one have questions. Can we unmute all? Okay, so
If any of the attendee have any question, please do ask. Or
okay, so we will proceed further.
okay. So similarly, suppose you are entering the first name. For that, I can use a different locator value, which could be ID here. So I've taken the ID value, and by selecting ID here, the locator and the respective value has to be given here. Similarly, I'll maintain the rest of the field which I'm entering. So to complete the flow, what we are exactly automating. And also, suppose in this flow you are selecting some values and entering something, and then we go on to click on submit button. So there is an error message which comes in. Either you can match either of these messages, or you can just match the main message which comes here, taking that locator value here and placing it at the action number 6. So this is the overall format of the action sheet, where you are maintaining your actions, the description, locator, and locator value. Uh, but in order to get the flow in the test case, you have to give the number of action which you are using for that particular test case. So, for example, you are having a test case with a few user credentials. So for that, we have list of a few action from 2 to 7, where you are entering certain values, selecting from a drop down. So where the data has to be given is in the test data column. I'll explain this column before I'll explain the execute and the screenshot column. So for example, second action is called select. So for select, we have a certain format of giving the test data, because the select value can be fetched either from the index value or the text which is present on the drop down, or the value which is present in the select tag. I'll just show you around. Okay, so these are the value, the text which is present. So this way you can able to select your drop down option. And after that, third, fourth, and fifth are the input regarding to the email ID, the first name, and the last name. So, for example, after second, you have to give a backtick to separate the next data. Following that, we have the email ID. After that, we have the first name, which is separated by a backtick again. So, if you have a concurrent action requiring multiple data, all the data are to be separated by backtick as per the flow you have given in the step to reproduce. Finally, at the end, you will have one action which is your verification step, which will give you the status of your test case in terms of pass, fail, skip, and block. Uh, Suppose you are entering, as per a scenario, you are entering few values and getting this error message here. So we want to verify whether this message comes or not. So this message can be taken from the match keyword by giving the locator value, and finally giving the number at the last. And whatever the match value is happening, it will get printed in the actual value after the execution ends. Okay. So this is the one format of maintaining your workbook. We have another workbook which have a big list of actions, and
So till now, is it clear actually? So we have Gaurav has created two sheets just now in an Excel sheet. One is maintaining the test cases, and another what actions we want to do it, or what steps to reproduce we want to do it in the action sheet. So Do we have any questions? We are unmuting actually, so people are free to speak. Please let us know if you have any questions or anything is not clear, so we can repeat it again. So it's good news for us actually. Everyone understands what we are telling. So we'll proceed further. So till now in Fab for Mesh, we have created the action sheet and the test case in the format of TestOptimizer, where we have some of the columns that we need to have entered.
Those are mandatory columns that we need to maintain.
So this test case at Satyajit asked that on which browser will this test case will execute. So Satyajit, actually this we support all the browsers: Firefox, Chrome, IE, and Phantom.js, Opera, Safari, as well as HTML unit driver. So like these test case work with for all the browsers. So when we are start execution actually this test case, at the time we will give the option to
select your browser the browsers as well as the which all test the workbook you have to execute. So I'll show you during the execution where exactly and what all other things are available for a user to use this tool. Any other questions, Satyajit?
So we are proceeding further. So we'll now
proceed further. So once the workbook has been maintained, just okay. So once the workbook has been maintained, you just close them so that there is no problem with that. Okay. So once the tool has been installed, this is the kind of format you will be getting. There are certain folders which automatically get generated, and then there are some txt files. So one of the folder is called the test case folder. In this folder only you have to keep all your workbook which are having your test cases. I'll just show you around. Okay, so these are the workbook which we have kept in this folder. Also, the user are free to create their own directory here. Suppose you want to create another folder inside the test case folder, so they are allowed to do that. In that directory, they can maintain the test cases as per their module. Some you can have a division with regard to a certain module or any other kind of different scenarios they want to run into.
So here you can maintain your own file management system. So the way you want to maintain the test cases, that same directory structure you can put it. If you are expecting from some working tool like SVN or Git or all those things, you can directly take the test cases folders here and you can ready to start. Yeah. So like Gaurav has created one folder called webinar and we have put it whatever the test sheets we have created just now.
So it just creates a directory structure and this will be replicated during the automation time also where you can make the selection. Okay, so coming to the execution part, after installation you have one batch file coming in by the name TestOptimizer. So once you double click on that, it verifies your license period, the duration, and immediately after that you have the window, a small window pops up regarding selection of the test case. So these are the test case workbook that are there in the test case folder. Only those get reflected here. Okay. So as I told, as Richard told before that I've created one webinar folder. In that I have placed two files. So these files can be selected individually also, or you can select any of the files which are there available as standalone. Okay. After selecting your workbook And now, if the user wants to send out the result to any of his senior or the colleague there, you can send out the report, execution report here. By clicking on that small mail option here, you have to enter the sender mail ID, the password. The password doesn't get stored anywhere, so the user need not worry about that. It is only asked during the execution. After that, it erases everything, whatever you have entered here. Also, you can enter your recipient here. Recipient are separated by comma. Once this is filled, just you click on the OK button, and also you have the scheduling option. You can schedule your test cases when you are away, or you want to run the test cases overnight. With the option of scheduling here, you can just select the date on which that scheduling has to take place, the timing. The timing is reflected as per a system timing. So currently, if you are at currently it's 10:36, so it will start from 10 and it goes on a 24-hour format. After that, you have to select the minutes. These also reflect the current minute status in your system. And after selecting the particular number, you can just click on the schedule task. And after that, you'll have a small window coming up which shows the time left for the scheduling to take place. Also, you can group your test cases by selecting the testing type. Suppose you want to select, you want to execute certain sanity test cases or efficient or any other kind of type of testing you do. So these can be selected here, but the user has to make sure that in test case you have to add one more column specifying which all test cases are for sanity, regression, retesting, like that.
So this is useful in the case when we are having the continuous integration type of thing, or we have a DevOps type of development that we pass. Okay, so you can customize this according to the need of the projects you are having in your organization, as well as for means follow the same or like whatever the name actually user friendly for you or for your organization for your project can be yeah, can be maintained actually. So it is customizable. Okay.
Okay, and after this we have the execution. But before that, you can select. We have three different kind of execution type. Like we have the sequential, where you have the after the file selection, which all browser you have selected, one after the other, the browser get initialized. It execute the test cases and closes. So if you have selected Firefox, Chrome, and IE, so first the Firefox gets initialized, execution ends, and after that Chrome gets initialized, execution happen there, and finally you have the IE browser. But if you want to do the execution in all the three browsers all together, you can select the parallel execution. Okay, with that, you have all the three instances of all the browsers selected with initialized all together, and the test cases are run as per your preferences. Finally, we have the distributed type where you can give the IP addresses of other system in which you want to run your test cases. This becomes useful when you want to test a particular web application on different browser version which is not available on a system. Because in the same system you cannot have more than one version of any other browsers available. So that way we can distribute our test cases on different machines, get the result on your own machine with the IP addresses of every machine in which it was run. So here you can give your the node. You can select the nodes and give the IP addresses here, and to select whether it's Windows, Mac, or Linux. These are optional because it displays the IP address along with whether it was a Windows machine, Mac, or Linux machine. Coming to the defect management tool, currently we have integrated it with Bugzilla and Jira. Okay,
so what will happen actually? So it is something like that. It will, if you want that all the failed test cases should be automatically reported in your defect management tool, Bugzilla or Jira, you can enter the server details here and login credentials, valid login credentials, and it will automatically report or log the bug in your defect management tool. So if you are using some other licensee tool, we and the APIs are extracted to us, we can integrate our tool with those defect management tools too. Okay, so this is all about defect management tool integration of the test optimizer.
Uh, so, so we had the type of execution and the testing type and the scheduling. Also, you can record your the entire execution. The way you had started selecting the particular file and which all the browsers you have selected. So the browser option comes here. Okay.
So Namrita to answer, yeah. So Namrita asked actually question ki how I can she integrate with Redmine tool. So Namrita, for the Redmine tool, if the API is open or the public APIs are there, then we can write a customized code for you so that you can integrate with Redmine tool. So here in that for you in the defect management tool, you will get Bugzilla, Jira, and Redmine option to you for Redmine too. That we can do. So Namrata, did we answer your question? Yeah, I hope.
Okay,
Hope.
I think
Yeah.
we have answered.
So hope. Yeah, where do we customize? So Namrata, that customization we will do actually for you on request basis. Because currently we are integrated with the tool, whatever the tools or the free things available in the market, so that which is extensively used in the market with the different organizations. So on the need basis, we will do the customization with the integration of tools. So for Redmine, we'll do it for you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So going forward, so once you click on the next button here, this is the place where you can have the browser selection or your workbook selected. So we have the two workbooks and we have these are the current browser which we are supporting, which you can automate your test cases like Firefox, Chrome, Firefox gets selected by default, and also you can select different browsers for different workbook as per your requirement. Okay. So currently we are running in both the workbook in Firefox only. Regarding the log mode, this gives you a fair idea regarding what exactly had gone wrong. If there was some exception which was generated, so that everything gets logged. So we have two different kind of log mode. We have info and the debug mode. Info gives you a little less information regarding the failure or the execution part. Debug mode will give you the entire stack trace of how exactly the execution had taken place, what went wrong, in which area it had gone wrong, and so that you can easily identify the area of where the action has failed or particular test case has failed. After selecting the browsers, you can click on the run button here, and after few sorry after few seconds, you'll have the execution starting first with the finish website which we had shown you how exactly are maintaining the test case and the action. So first test case is the initialization of the URL of the website. So it'll take some time because it varies according to your net speed. Uh, so once the page gets loaded up, as soon as the page maximizes, you'll have the next test case getting executed.
So maximization of browser window will happen only if when all the items is uploaded. Then only it will go ahead with the further test.
So you can see we have selected as per our test cases and enter few value. You click on the select submit button and we are just verifying the what exactly the error message where we want to fetch. If there is any mismatch between expected and actual, that particular message gets highlighted. As you can see, you must have seen the one bordered area. So that is how you'll also get the screenshot of the page or the action. So we have another website where you click on a button which opens up a new tab. There is something we're matching in this tab window, and after the match, it closes, goes back to the parent window. Then we are searching the auto suggestion, what all auto suggestion comes for a character B in the from area. We match and count the auto suggestion. We select the date to a particular month, and finally we have the close browser. So we have to wait till the this command prompt closes, because then only the result get submitted to the workbook itself. So once this is done, user can see the result either going back to the test case folder and opening up the whatever file they have selected, or they can go to the recently executed file folder. This folder contains only the file which were last executed in the tool, so that it's easy to see among all the list of workbook which all workbook I have executed. So here you can just open up, and this is the result part as per the browser which we have selected. Like since we have executed the workbook only in Firefox, so we have the actual Firefox, what exactly that thing we were verifying, that will come here. The status pass fail. The status fail here is fail because the user registration which we have matched and what we were expecting are different. As you can see here, user U starts with capital. Here we were expecting a small u. So that way you can just you can match your requirement and what has come up in the web application. And the error summary portion is where you get why the failure has happened. So obviously there's a mismatch of expected and actual value. And if suppose a certain action didn't perform, a certain locator value was not able to identify during the automation. So every message gets displayed here. Suppose you have 2 to 3 action failings, so all the action number and their error summary will be displayed here so that user can cross verify easily without going into much trouble. This is one of the application which we had run. Another one was the Redbus website. So here you can see we have another list of test cases where we are matching something. We are, like we said, we were matching the auto session option which were coming in. This is the expected value and this is what we were getting. Okay, so since the entire list has matched, we have the status is pass. Also, we were calculating how many auto session had come. So, as if you have a requirement of 436 for a particular keyword, we were getting 437. So obviously there is a mismatch. So the error summary gets generated here. Also, you can see the second test case, third test case had some issue with the one of the action. Okay, so the action number gets displayed here, and the error summary for this, why exactly that has taken place, you can get it from the error summary here. Also, you can go on to see the log mode which we were told before selection. Here you will have the error detail. So click on that. So this is the entire stack trace of the execution, from executing test number 1, then go on to test case number 2, then what all things have happened and where exactly the test case has failed. So you can get a bit more information regarding where is the pain point regarding the application. So this is it. This is the part. So this is the overall format of reporting your the test case result and maintaining your workbook, where exactly the workbook has to be kept. Also, if you want to see the screenshot, so screenshot comes on a timely basis. Like suppose if you have run the same workbook again and again, so the same workbook name comes in along with the timestamp, the date and the time at which it was executed. So if you see here, we'll have the all the test case ID, and here you want to open in whichever browser you have selected during execution. Only for that browser the screenshot will come. If you had selected more than one browser, all the browser folder get created with their respective screenshot. So this way the user can just see what all things were there in the web page and whether there was any mismatch or whether the correct tab got opened, all the things, all the fields were there in that tab. So all these things can be verified using the screenshot folder. And for the user, we have the manual folder where you have the quick reference guide, the installation guide, and the user guide. The quick reference guide contains all the keywords, uh, where it functions, what all locator value they support, the description regarding the keyword, everything is available. So if you just open it up, you'll have these. So like that, you'll have we have initialize, close. These all are the keywords. Navigation, clicking forward, backward. So these are for the user to refer regarding what it does and where exactly it can be used, the locators it supports, and the locator value. If any comments are there regarding if there is any limitation also, we specify everything over here.
So other than this, we have a very detailed user guide maintained. So that will come once you install the test optimizer tool in your system. And we support Mac and Linux both. Currently, the community edition is available only for Windows system. And other than that, like we can able to do like if you talk about test optimizer features, so we are able to do um, if then else, for looping, data driven testing, using scenario based testing, and whatever you can able to do in Selenium for a web application testing, it is possible to do in our tool without really doing the coding and without really generating a script. Okay, so this is all about our tool. If you have any questions, yeah. So Chetan asked that can we run multiple test cases at once? So see, we have mentioned that we have a different mode of execution like parallel execution and distributed execution. So if we choose parallel execution, two browsers can instances can be open automatically and can be executed multiple times. And there's something called suppose one test case you want to execute 50 times. So it is possible to execute 50 times using the execute column, what we have mentioned, the number of times you want to execute. Okay, so it is possible to execute multiple test case at one, multiple time in the scenario way. So Chetan, did I answer your question? Password at a time. Okay, got it. You can unmute.
Okay, Namrata has asked, can we run multiple username and password at a time in one sheet?
Yeah.
Hold on.
So yeah. So means Namrata. Means tell me if I understand your question properly. So you want to execute number of test cases with the same or the registration or the login thing with the multiple username and password. So it is possible to do. We need to put all the username and password combination and one test data sheet, and that we need to pass actually to our test cases in the form in the where we are mentioning about the test data in the form of the file. So it is possible to do.
Yeah, so in that you are maintaining your set of data, the input data which you want to verify on a particular form in one separate, we call it an external sheet. So that sheet link you have to give it in your test case, and the sheet will run as per your data you have given. If you have multiple set of data, all the data will get executed one after the other, and the result can be fetched in the same workbook where you are maintaining your test case. So that way you can loop your test data n number of time. Also, you can run multiple set of data.
Okay, so Pankaj had asked one question that can we group the test cases? Yes, we can. So there, the grouping thing, we can do it. Actually, we'll use the testing type, what you want to do. So you can find out the name of the group, and in that you can mention the testing type column. In that you can mention that which type of means this test case belong to which group, and while executing you choose that group if you want to execute that thing. And
Also, he has
yeah.
asked how to handle dependency between test cases. Well, dependency is something that you have to see either in the flow. You have to maintain a flow so that there is, if there is any dependency of the test cases below or the above test cases, in that flow only you have to maintain the test cases. So one after the other, as per the dependency, the test cases get executed.
Yeah, to add on Gaurav, actually, suppose you have test case 1, test case 2, and test case 3, and you have a dependency that test case 1 should execute before the test case 2, or test sheet 1 should execute before the test sheet 2. So you can use there's one keyword called prerequisite actually, where you can mention which sheet you or which test case sheet you want to execute before
A particular test
particular
case
test
gets
case.
executed.
Yeah, so that can be done, Pankaj. So it is something like that. Suppose in an instance that I want to log in to Gmail account to check my inbox. So login thing can be done in
Common
the
functionality.
common functionality. We can add it as a setup test sheet or the test prerequisite test case actually, and we will call in every test cases where we want to log in with the particular user. So anything else, Pankaj? So Pankaj, did we answer your question? Do you have? We are unmuting. Okay, Pankaj mentioned. Can you show in sheet dependency? Yeah. So where we mentioned the group. Okay, where we mentioned the group, we will show in the sheet. Yeah. So if you so here we can mention actually one more column that we can say as a testing type. Okay, and here we can mention suppose this test case belong to sanity separated by comma. Okay, sanity I mentioned comma sanity comma functional. Okay, so in this way you can define the testing type. So at the time of execution, actually, if you choose the group regression, it will execute only the regression test cases, all the test cases which you have mentioned as regression. So these things you can define actually according to your need also. Suppose you are using UAT or build acceptance or whatever the type of testing words you are using, you can customize accordingly. So am I clear, Pankaj?
Okay, Satyajit have also asked, can we have dashboard to see test results?
So Satyajit, that is the USP of our product actually, that we don't have any interface. all things are maintained in the form of Excel or the spreadsheet. So we are having the chart report type of thing actually, where you can see the trends there. Suppose you are executing the same set of test cases in multiple browsers and multiple time actually in the multiple bills, that and you are getting some defects, so those trends can be shown in the chart form. Do we have any chart report available? It is not a complete chart. Open the report folder. In that. So see, means here you can see Satyajit, if you are able to see our screen there, we can see that overall browser execution report. Currently it made it like that, and we executed the same set of test cases on September 22 as well as on September 23. So it is giving the trend what is the pass, fail and skip thing is there. Okay, and that same thing will be mentioned in the pie chart format actually on the day wise, like the overall things what is coming on the 23rd September and what is the like browser wise execution report. So this type of thing we are maintaining. We are not having as such dashboard type of thing. We are planning to put our tool on cloud. At the time we will have dashboard thing, but you can have this chart reports available very easily on to see that where what's the trends, and you can send it actually. So it create both the version, HTML version as well as in the XLS format or the spreadsheet format. So HTML format you can send it through mail also.
And if in case your file gets corrupted or any other issue happens, the HTML can be opened in any of the browsers so that you can see the result and see the result on daily basis, timely basis, just to have a comparison when the last time the test case has failed and when got it passed.
So Satyajit, any other query you have? So did we answer your question, Satyajit? Okay.
Satyajit, can you hear us? Because I've unmuted everyone. If you want to ask directly, you can just can have the discussion on the mic itself.
Okay, so what is next after this? So we will be sharing the community version for all of you. Okay. For interface, if we, okay, Namrita have one question. For interface, if we had selected regression test type, but in test case it's sanity, then what test does it run? So in that case, Namrita, nothing will be executed.
For that particular flow, there is some error message gets generated.
It will say very clearly that you have chose this group and you have not choose this group, and there's no test case found for a particular group you have chosen. That's why the execution is not done. So it will come out gracefully and give the proper error message. Okay, so the next step to this, actually we will be sharing community versions with you to do the hands-on. As we mentioned, we already have the user guide and the quick reference guide which we'll be sharing. Along with that, we will be having. Oh, there is one more question. Okay. Okay, what do you mean? So Pankaj is having another question, that what do you mean in log mode with info and debug? So in case of info mode, Pankaj, we will be um, only be just mentioning that which test case is executed and what is the result of that test case. But in the case of debug mode, we will be mentioning exactly where is the error and why that error came. So we will get a stack trace type of thing where you can mention, okay, this is the reason, exact reason for failure of thing. Because in case of Excel sheet, in the error message, we are wrapping up the error message with the user understanding text, so it will be difficult to debug. So that's why we have mentioned debug mode. Okay. So
anyone else have any other question regarding the usage, the workbook, so that we can clarify now, or we can move on to how exactly you can get the build.
So here you can. Yeah, so in the resource folder, you will get the videos and other questions actually available. You can also go to visit our Facebook page and LinkedIn page, and we have one group also maintaining for the question answering of the related to the test optimizer in LinkedIn with the name of Test Optimizer. You can join that group and ask your questions while you are facing it. Other than that, means these type of support we can give for the community version. Okay. So, and even we will be sharing, actually Gaurav will be sharing his Skype ID, so you can communicate with him directly in case of any urgent help or any help actually in using our tool. Yeah, so he have already mentioned his Skype
So you
ID
can
on the chat.
connect with me on Skype for any queries related to the download or how to use it. Or if you want more explanation, so I will be happy to help. You can just send me the request. And this is the page where you can download the community edition. This is absolutely free, and just fill in your detail and you can download the build. Yes. Okay.
In case if you face any issue, feel free to contact us without any problem. You contact Gaurav also. So, if, so in case if anyone needs enterprise build for the organization, then also they can actually request it from the site itself.
So for that you have a limited trial period for enterprise build, but the request has to be sent to us. I'll just show you where you can go and have the request made for enterprise edition. Okay, and also this is the link from where you can just send in your request, and also this is the feature which we have done a comparison between the two edition, the community and the enterprise. With regard to the keywords, you can refer in everything, the features, and the kind of support we'll be providing. So So the enterprise edition, although it's has a 14-day trial license, but the request has to be sent to us, and once you click on the button, the request comes to us, and within the next 2 working days, we'll get back to you with regards to the build and other important information.
Thanks for listening. Yes, okay. So please, okay.
Namrita.
So a number. Okay. So.
We have, although the community edition is free, you can download it as per your requirement. But there are certain things which are not available in community edition regarding to the certain feature like execution type and all those things. But for the getting a hang of the tool, the community edition will be more useful. You can have it. You can just try it on whether you can understand the tool, and then you can go and ask for an edition. Right now, enterprise edition is not free like the community edition, but there are certain charges with regard to the support personalized support.
So, Namrita, actually, enterprise means we'll try to have almost all the features in community edition. We have almost all the other than some minimum two, three high end which we feel that it is only needed in the enterprise or the big organization in the enterprise mode. So yeah, so you can request that form enterprise build through the form, and we will give you in the 14 days trials. If you are interested to buy the, if your organization is interested to buy the enterprise version, we can share the commercials actually accordingly. So you can always feel free to write to us actually, to Gaurav or to the mail ID which is shared to you already for registration or for on the site. So we will immediately respond within 1 or 2 working days. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening to us patiently. We are really grateful and hope you will be using our community version. So
Thank
feel
you all
free
for
to,
your
yeah,
time.
feel free to contact us back in case of any problems and
Any problem
issues.
with the build or anything?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.